was a participant in last year's ELab program, and I'm happy to be here today and tell you a little bit about my experience and hopefully share with you what to expect from the ELab program. So I guess a little bit about my background. I'm a PhD candidate in biomedical engineering at Columbia. More specifically, I work in medical imaging. So for my thesis project, I built an imaging system to look at for blood circulation and diabetic feet. So to diagnose peripheral arterial disease and diabetes. This was a big unmet clinical need because diabetic patients, when they're being imaged, usually have to inject chemicals into their bloodstream, and they have poor kidney function, so it really prevents them from using those screening methods. And they also have calcified arteries, which prevent the use of blood pressure-based measurements, which are usually used for non-diabetics. So by building this imaging system, we could really help vascular surgeons and podiatrists in screening the patient. So I built a pilot system, and I used it in a 40-subject study at New York Presbyterian. We patented the device, and then I was getting towards the end of my PhD, and I was like, wow, this is showing really promising data, and I was really hoping to continue it forward upon completing my PhD. So just real quick, this is a picture of the prototype. And then next to it is a cross-sectional image of a foot that was imaged. So from there, I started looking, and if you were just to Google entrepreneurship in general, you would see just so many articles, a lot of conflicting advice, and a lot of it is not geared towards, I guess, the healthcare space. A lot of it geared towards cell phone apps or things that don't have to go through a big of a regulatory hurdle. So that's really where the ELab program kind of thrives, because it kind of takes all of that into account and helps you, put together your business plan. So I guess for the ELab program, when I joined, the first part of it is a mini MBA course. So when I walked in, I guess I assumed it was going to be like, this is accounting, this is marketing, this is operations, or what have you, whatever parts of the MBA program you should see. But this was very individualized towards your company. Everything that you were doing was targeted towards your venture specifically. So for example, if there was like a marketing assignment where you would go and you would call up your customers, I would physically call vascular surgeons and podiatrists and ask them what they think about the device. And that was really insightful to know, is this really going to make a difference? How much they're willing to pay for it? And all sorts of questions that I thought I would figure out as I go along. I was actually able to kind of get a rough idea about what to actually place in those gaping holes. And then in addition, I also made a company roadmap. So I kind of had a rough idea of how much it would cost and what time it would take in order to get through each of the milestones necessary to get my imaging system and take it to whether it be IPO or acquisition or whatnot. And then the other part, once you have this roadmap in place, there's a lot of mentorship and networking events. So each part of your milestone, whether it be regulatory or reimbursement, they had a specialist there in the networking events where you could talk to and kind of answer your specific questions. Because whether it's a drug or an imaging system, they kind of vary. One will have to go through a 510K, the other one's a very long, PMA with all the phases and trials. So you were able to speak with these regulatory experts and really get a lot of advice. And if you had a specific question tailored to you, for example, I was curious how I would mass produce the imaging system. And I just told Mary, and then even the person who was not at the networking event, she hooked me up with an industrial designer, John Monzak, and we worked together just fine. So it's very open. They're willing to answer pretty much any question. So it's really great. And then also in addition, I also found an additional funding opportunity. Jahan Ali, one of the advisors to the program, we met her, and then she realized I was still in the academic institute, and she said, hey, why not apply to the BioAccelerate program? And that's what I did, and now we're on phase 2. Actually, I think Suzanne has a BioAccelerate award. So that's actually a potential funding source that can help move this project along. And it also opens doors. Once I go and meet with investors and whatnot and tell them that I've been through this program, they're a lot more willing to listen to what I have to say as opposed to before I was only on most occasions. So I guess I'll post ELab program. I'm still finishing up my PhD. I'm almost done with my thesis, and currently I'm in the process of incorporating, talking with my advisor, and then setting up all the founder agreements and whatnot. And then I'm hoping to prepare for the December SBIR fingers crossed, assuming also that the government opens back up. And also about to start getting into licensing agreements with the Tech Transfer Office to get a license to Japan. So, thank you for your attention. Feel free to email me any questions or come talk to me.